you so much to the donors that have already donated, and if you're considering donating, please do. That would really help. So today I will be talking about the point shoe and what it looks like, what it feels to be in a point shoe, if I get blisters or not, and how I tape my toes. So first off, I will show you my point shoe. So this is a point shoe, and when you get a point shoe, they don't have these ribbons on or the elastic, so we have to sew them on, which can take many hours, or if you're really fast, you can do it really quick, and a lot of practice. So this is what it would look like if you were just, like, if this is the shoe, if you're on point. So you're on the tip of it right here, and it doesn't normally hurt. I have a lot of customizations I do to it. For example, I use jet glue, which is a really strong glue, to harden this, which is the shank, to make sure it doesn't die on me, and the tip of it. And I also put this, which is lamb's wool, at the tip of it, so I don't feel as much pressure on my toes. Since I have very square toes, the pressure like spreads out all over, and that can be painful sometimes, especially in new shoes, and that is when I get blisters. But the taping skills that I have learned from many dancers and just the way that it works with me have really helped me, and I will show you what I do. So the materials that I use are just normal athletic tape. I use this NextCare waterproof tape, and it's spongy, and we call it cheese tape, which is really funny because it looks like cheese almost, but it's very, very like spongy and reduces the pressure. I use these callus cushions, and then I also use these second skin squares, and they look like this, but when you take all the layering off, it's just a clear jelly square like this. And I'll do one foot, but basically I take one square itself and put it at the tip of my toe. And I didn't use these before I had a lot of pressure going to my toes, and one of my dancer friends suggested it to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I should try that. So I tried them, and I fell in love with them. They are so great, help so much. And then just over the years, I realized how I get pain in different places, and these squares have moisture and water built into them, and that helps also reduce pressure and rubbing, because there's friction inside of your shoe, which helps create blisters when we don't want that. So I also get some pain right here on the knuckle of my big toe, so I cut one of these squares in half like this and put that right there. So that's what it looks like. And then I'll take this tape and I wrap it around my big toe like that over the squares so they stay intact. And then I put one right at the base of it to make sure that the half square that I cut doesn't fly out. And then I take some and put it over the top like this. And then if you see, there are some holes left, so I take some more, rip it in half, and then put that over the holes on each side. And it looks like a lot, but I can still feel my toe in. And what I like about it, this is what it looks like. It's like almost like a cover for my toe, so I don't really normally feel any pressure there at all unless I taped it wrong. So then for my pinky toes, I grew calluses over my blisters and stuff, but my pinky toe is very tiny compared to all of my other toes. So it does receive some pressure in my shoe, so that's not great. So then I take the other half of the square that I had cut earlier and put that right here on my toe. And I normally tried just doing like one full square there, but doing that, like my toe was too small for that, so originally I decided to cut it in half, and that really worked. So then I take one last square and I put that right here. And that is because I also receive blisters there, which is not very nice, especially when that's the only places I feel pressure. So then I cut a piece of tape, of athletic tape. I don't use this tape. This tape is only for my big toe. This one is for my pinky toe, and I like sandwich it in between my toes and then just wrap it around. And then I leave that like that for a little bit. And then I take another piece and put it like this over that other square, so it looks like that. And then I take one more piece and then I put this over like this on my foot, and then just make sure it's all intact. And then this toe, which I had cut, I squeeze the tape so it's like molded to my foot, and then I cut off the excess. And then the last thing I do is I take one of these callus cushions, and because I have a somewhat of a bunion forming right here, a lot of people would be like, oh, just use a spacer, so you like space your toes out so it's like aligned. But I don't feel pressure on my bunion bone here. I feel it on top. And that, when I was younger and first started point, that was terrible. And I had lots of pain there. I was crying. It really, really hurt. So then I tried so many things. I tried moleskin, just taping that area. I tried like a spacer, and I did not like any of those. I only use a spacer when I'm doing like any kind of ballet, when I'm not wearing tights. I'm just doing like, if I'm wearing a leotard and a skirt, and then I'm like for a show and I just don't wear tights because that's the costume, then I won't wear these. I will wear a spacer instead. But I put that right on my knuckle bone, and then I put my tights over that, and then I put my point shoe on, and I don't feel any pain. Which a lot of people will be like, wow, you use so much tape. But if you really think about it, it really, really helps, and I don't feel any pain, and it's great. And then the last thing I do before I put my point shoes on is put a toe pad on. They look like this. There are many of them. I don't think I have one anymore. But I started off with a lamb's wool one, which is in the same shape as this. It's just made out of this material. And I know a lot of dancers that still use that, or just use that kind of lamb's wool and just shove it over their toes, and they're fine. And I also know dancers that use a gel one, which is practically just like, I don't know how to explain it, like a jelly, but it doesn't look like these. It looks like a hard gel coat, almost like a mold that has some kind of powder on it. I think it's cornstarch maybe. And my foot did not fit into those, and it also was really weird because you had to wear it underneath your tights. And I know a lot of people do that with these as well, but I like all my toe tape staying there, and I don't like it moving around, which if I put this over it, it would. But what I really like about this, which is called an ouch pouch, I use the ouch pouch junior since I have really small feet, but it's a layer of fabric, but then it also has a layer of gel inside of it, so it reduces the pressure, reduces pain, and it helps stop friction. So it's like really stretchy as well, and I just put it over my toe like that, and then you can just put the point shoe on like that. And this is really hard to sew on, the elastic, because you have to make sure it fits your foot just perfectly. And then the last thing is you tie your ribbons, which is very hard to explain, and it's basically just crossing them and tying them. And then you tie it right here. And then you roll down this and tuck it in here. And for shows, we sew it in with a fabric. But then, if you look, this is my foot on point, like that. And then this is my other foot. So when I'm on flat, they look the same almost, but then when you roll up, you can tell that your toes, there's like an inch or two between the tip of the shoe and your foot. So it's really important that you can still feel the floor while you're dancing. And when eye taping methods work, That's how it works. And I absolutely love my taping methods. They work so well. If I didn't have them, I don't know where I would be. I have a ton of blisters, which are very painful. So, this is great. Thank you so much again to all of the donors that have already donated. And if you haven't donated, please consider. Thank you. Bye.